guys, what's going on? It's going to be video number 2 of the Astro and base build. As you can see, Astro is torn down right now. Craig has been working on the alternator setup in here. We're going to be running dual alternators. So we got this bracket. This is the factory bracket here on the 93, and he's picking up a bracket, or I think he already has one. It's going to go on this side to allow us to put the duplicate alternator over here. And he's got some work to do with the power steering. So kind of working on that. That's the situation. Figured at this point the best way to get in there was just to pull that radiator out, because the Astro's a little bit tough to work on. So we're at that point up here. So this thing's going to have dual 370s, I believe. So we're going to have tons and tons of charging ability depending on where we end up. And honestly, it's probably overkill with the burp setup. No, Derek over there at Sundown, was explaining his situation, and I do agree also. We're just allowing ourselves to have options and only have to get dug into this thing one time. And JS Alternator stepped up and hooked us up with the alternators, so it was one of those things you couldn't refuse. So we'll have over 700 amps of charging ability, be running 4 runs of power, 4 runs of ground to the rear to get all of our amperage back to our capacitors really quickly. We're also putting a cat bank up here, so we're going to be pulling out this battery, and we're going to have Bobby Gately help us do a really cool fuse block that kind of works in together with those and mounts them in. So we'll have a bank of capacitors here, and that's going to be kind of like to help start the vehicle and supplement whatever is going on under the hood. And so those runs are going to come back, and we're going to be running 20 banks to start of the Maxwell super caps. So in our messy little work area here, we have our 20 banks of super capacitors, and these will be good to go up to like 16 volts. So that kind of wraps up the electrical going in this thing. As you can see, we got a wire poked through kind of right there. That's where it's going to end up. So we got plenty of length to reach our amplifiers, which are going to be pretty much just attached to the back here. A little amp rack idea. So we'll be working on that soon, and then moving on to getting these side panels in. We got a few of these things made up. So right now I'm actually putting a layer of resin on them, just an ugly quick coat here to hopefully seal these up so that water doesn't really mess with them. So when we go ahead and pour our concrete, we're gonna be coming in from the roof here, and it's gonna be wet at first. We don't want that to really swell the wood, mess with the wood, because it's got to hopefully adhere to it best it can. And obviously the wood and the concrete's not going to adhere perfectly, so we're going to actually be sticking some screws all the way through it, and like have the raw end sticking through, and hopefully the threads on the screws are going to bite with the concrete. And then on top of that, these are already mounted to the frame. So that's where we're at on that. So hopefully that idea plays out, and we can protect the wood as it goes in with the concrete. So we'll show you here in a minute what that looks like with these installed as soon as that fiberglass resin sets. So while we're letting this resin set up, I figured I'd take a moment to talk, because I got really nothing to do. I had a comment in the last video said this is going to be a Sundown versus DC throwdown, and to be honest, that's not what's happening at all. We've been having this on the back burner for probably going on more than a half a year. We've been thinking about doing this, and we finally pulled the trigger about 2 months ago and just started working on it. We decided we wanted to do a 3-4 build, and that's just where we're going. Derek over there at Sundown's a cool guy. Recently just kind of met him on Facebook after seeing a lot of his YouTube stuff, and learned some stuff from him. And hopefully he does really well, and hopefully we do really well, and it's fun. I know he's going to be running 4 subs to start out with, and then I think his goal was to move out to 6. And we're obviously going to stick with the 4 here, because that's kind of set in stone almost. So that was kind of a rundown. There's no real competition between us. I don't know him that well, other than just kind of checking in on his posts and getting some correspondence that way. But nothing wrong with Sundown, nothing wrong with DC. I love the brands. In fact, if you guys don't know it, the soft parts in the Jeep, if you haven't seen the Jeep, go check it out. The soft parts on those subs are Sundown. So, nothing wrong with Sundown. So, this stuff is getting close. And again, like I said earlier, this is just to protect our wood from the concrete during the pour, because that the moisture content in the concrete would mess with the MDF and everything. And you can see I got my frame kind of traced out. I'm just going to be pre-drilling some holes as soon as this is done. And kind of like how we did on the baffle. All my pre-drills here get screws right to the frame, and then we stick some construction adhesive in between it. So this is our baffle right now. We got it all sandwiched together, as you saw in the last video. It's roughly 3 3/4 stick to get us started. So we're going to experiment with the thickness, because the depth here is proportional to basically the port length, because this whole entire opening is the port. So that's kind of something we're going to be playing with. And then along with that is the position of the speakers relative to the dash. So the farther forward or rearward these speakers would be changes quite a few things because of that distance. And they just call it the quarter wave. And it's kind of a way to help tune the resonance of the vehicle in a way. So it's hard to explain. I'm not completely an expert yet. But I've given myself some options to be able to mount the woofers on the rear side or the front side of the baffle. And as we add layers, that's going to adjust where those end up sitting. So if I don't like kind of the peak frequency or something, that's another element of adjustment on top of changing box volume and port size. So very interesting stuff. A lot of different variables. So we'll hopefully take you along for the ride on that in the next several months, and learn a little bit more about how that goes down. And I think this stuff's about ready. Should be good. That brush is pretty solid, so I'll give it a couple more minutes to make sure it's not tacky, and then I'm going to go ahead and start getting it ready to go in. So enough with the rambling. We'll show you how it looks when it's installed. Alright guys, so now preparing to put these pieces on the sides here. You saw a little earlier I was resining them and getting them ready to go in. I wanted to protect the glass on the sides of this van from the concrete once it's in. So I put a foam pad and taped it on. We sealed up the window decently with some tape. That's going to hopefully protect the glass for when the concrete's set and really hard. You know, there's not so much direct contact to the glass. I've never heard of anyone having glass break after the concrete's in there, but I just wanted to give it like a cushion and kind of protect it. And then we were also worried about the concrete blowing out the glass. That's going to be taken care of. We're going to actually be putting straps around the entire vehicle to kind of hold the glass on when the concrete gets poured. And luckily the glass is on the upper half of the pour, so a lot of the weight's going to be kind of underneath the glass anyways. So hopefully that plan works out, and we can protect those, and they're basically just going to be a concrete form. So once we get there, shouldn't be a problem. So here's my side pieces. Here's one of them, and we got the resin on the back side here. So I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill this out and get it ready to mount and adhere to my my cage here. And we'll show you some of the things we did with it. I also used a skill saw and notched out these reliefs, and those essentially are to pair up with the if I can move it over there, this pretty heavy piece here. These are to pair up with these speakers, as you can see. So I can mount my speakers on the back sides. So when this is fully installed, you get a good view of that. So I'm gonna keep on moving on here. I think I'm gonna go build this side real quick, and then get the resin drying on it, and then install this side. So that's gonna be what I do.
Got some money in the play, chicks say they on the way. Still gon' ride the wave, either way they gon' hate. Know what I'm talking about? I've been chillin' now, dipping different bitches in my mentions. Not sure of they intentions, but they glow up the extension. Try to size you like you benching when you rise in my position. Too high for a suspension, keep one eye on the mission. Other eye on the haters cause they creepin'. Took some losses, bounced back, now I'm decent. Sort of focus could've lost me off the deep end. Had to cut some people off cause they was leeching. Shit was fading, was a goner. High on marijuana, barely pushing, not going where I wanna. Hardly matching my persona. Was bottled up like a Corona. A shell of myself and some Jonas. Shit changed now, I'm moving how I wanna move. When you want it like LeBron, how you gonna lose? Shit different when you want them, when you got the juice. Looked in the mirror, seen a line, time to cut him loose. I'm stumble proof. Got some money in the plate, chicks say they on the way. Still gon' ride the wave, either way they gon' hate. Know what I'm talking about. Got some money in the plate, chicks say they on the way. Still gon' ride the wave, either way they gon' hate. Know what I'm talking about. Ain't much change, still matching my homies and family only. My ex.
Alright guys, next update here, we're gonna start putting the roof pieces in. Did a quick sand down in the blocks here, so it's looking a little bit better. You can see how these speaker holes are shaping up, coming out really nice. You can see how well that lamination did on the different layers. So it's definitely solid. Like you saw before, there's steel in here too. So it's definitely one of the stronger baffles out there. Got a little more bondo work I want to do on this one and some sanding, and they'll be all perfect. But most of these came out pretty good, as you can see there. So we're getting there. And if you guys noticed, we got these notches right here for the speakers. We can mount them on the rear side of the baffle if we wish. So I got notches put in the side pieces for that. So next thing is going to be getting this roof put on. I got my pieces made up here, and we'll get at it. So Craig's over here getting these alternators all suited up. Got the these are able to accept 4 runs. We're only going to need 2 out of them. So we got these nice little splitters on here. And these are JS 370s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got a pair of them.
Ill Customs.
And then the Ill Customs
Blocks.
little blocks on them, and then the Gabriel greenback belt here. So getting this thing back together, hopefully it'll be running pretty quick. Needs a lot more work, but at least we got some voltage. So hit up JS alternators, they'll do you good. Alright guys, so we got the roof on. We'll let that start setting up, and then next thing is going to be getting this floor on and back put on. Got that full throttle battery in there right now, kind of helping us figuring our wiring situation. We got these barn doors we got to get powered back up, so it'll unlock and lock, because we kind of cut the umbilical cord going front to rear when we were doing the wall. So we're just picking and choosing what of the electrical we actually need back there anymore. So once we get that figured out, then it'll be pretty much simple plug and play for that, and we'll have a wall in here. So anyway, get you a quick last look at it. I also went through and sanded down these speaker holes a little bit, so I'll show you how clean those came out. You can see the layering came out really nice. So we know it's coming together really good. So, alright then, till next time guys, please leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff we like to do. So I'm going to let it be for today. But we're almost enclosed. I'll get you the last thing on the roof here. A lot of cleanup to do, a lot of sanding to do, but we're getting there. Alright guys, till the next video, stay tuned.